there are 108 Upanishads, right? 108 main Upanishads in the Vedas. Isha means God. Upa means which brings you near. So that which brings you near to the Supreme Lord, that is called Upanishad. Of the 108 main Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita is considered best. It was spoken by God himself. So there are two types of spiritualists, two types of transcendentalists. Those who worship the personal form of the Supreme Lord, so we call them Vaishnavas. Also, there are those who worship the impersonal form. Okay, that's a dichotomy. How can there be such thing as an impersonal form? But impersonal aspect of the Supreme Lord. So those who worship the personal form, they're called personalists, Vaishnavas. And those who worship the unmanifest, the formless, then we call them impersonalists, or Gyanis. Nirakarvadis is a good word. Akar means form. Nirakar means they believe the absolute truth has no form. Like Christians, Muslims, Jews, 99% of yoga groups, Jnanis, meditators, Buddhists, all fall into the category of formless upasaks, nirguna upasaks. Even though in the Bible the form of God is mentioned clearly, material people cannot understand it. Like Bible says, God made man in his own image. So God also have 2 hands, 2 legs. The Quran also says, Ya in Allah min surati. Allah made man as if looking in a mirror. That is that. Scriptures talk about the right hand of God, God sitting on a throne. So always the form of God is there, but people cannot understand. They think it's an allegory or something like that. Indeed, most people teach, even they read about the form of God, the lotus feet of Krishna, the mouth of Krishna, the eyes of Krishna, the hands of Krishna. Because everywhere it describes Krishna's walking, Krishna's eating, Krishna's speaking. So they make up many varieties of philosophy. Okay, they say, well, you cannot fix your form and unmanifest, therefore you can imagine any form. These are called the Panch Upasaks. Like in India, we have those who worship Narayan, the sun god, Shiva, Ganesh, and the sun god. These 5. They say anyone you choose which you like, you choose and worship, and that will take you to you fix your mind on that, and when that is mature, then you can go to the formless aspect. I remember when I was young, I was in one yoga ashram in India. And there was one Swami who was talking about this. Just choose any Ishtadev, Ganesh, Hanuman, Ram. Just fix your mind there, and that will take you to the formless, the real form, the formless aspect, which is real. So I remember asking him, any form? He said, yes, anything. And then one guy said, his Ishtadev, what he meditated on, was an upside down purple triangle. He spent his life thinking of that, fixing his mind on one thing. Madhurika is looking perplexed. Yes, I was also perplexed when I heard it. So many people, they even make a show of chanting the names of Krishna or even worshipping the deities, but ultimately they believe this is just a temporary manifestation. No, but the real truth is impersonal. So not everyone that worships, even makes a show of worshipping the personal form of the Supreme Lord, are real personalists. And most fall into that category. So the personalists mean who believe that the personal form, in Sanskrit we say sakar or sagun, with form, with qualities. We believe that form is eternal, not temporary. Okay, so anyway, this is always a great debate between the personalists and the impersonalists. So because Viru Dharma Asraya, the Supreme Lord, impossible opposites may reside in him at the same time, but there's no contradiction. No, like in this world, black and white, then you put them together, then you get some cancellation of the qualities. Positive and negative, black and white, +1 added to -1. Right? In this world, they cancel out. They cannot both stay at the same time. Black and white cannot be in the same place at the same time. But this is for material objects. But Krishna is a non-material object. Achinta vasatu kalem snatakad nayojana. What is transcendental, achintya, beyond the mind, beyond the senses, it cannot be understood by logic or argument. So, for example, Krishna is formless, but he also has a form. How can that be? Krishna has no birth and death, but he took birth from the womb of Yasoda. He stayed 125 years, then he also disappeared. Right? He is the unborn, but he comes from the womb of Yasoda. He is bigger than the biggest, but smaller than the smallest. He is pure. No, he is made of knowledge, but still Mother Yasoda teaches him. Like that. When the Brijbasis moved from Gokul to Vrindavan, then Kavi Karnapur, he says, Krishna and Balaram were sitting on the lap of Yasoda. Then Krishna would ask, what's that tree with the big eyes? And Yasoda would laugh, that's a coconut tree. Right? What's that tree with the beard? Then Yasoda would say, that's the banyan tree, right? He has a big beard. Like this, Krishna asking, what is this? What is that? Even though he's the source of all knowledge, still he acts like an ignorant person. Only devotees by the mercy of Krishna can harmonize all these things, by the power of devotion. How can Krishna be everything but be separate from everything at the same time? That is our philosophy. Achintya bed, abed, inconceivable oneness and difference. The devotees hear these things, they not become bewildered. They realize for Krishna is possible. Therefore, both personal form and any personal aspect may both be in Krishna. No harm. No? But still this argument has been going. Most people will hear about the form of God, immediately their mind closes. Because they only have experience of material form. Material form has an origin, it has a cause, it's limited, it's always changing, transforming. Many defects in material form. So when they hear Krishna has a form, then by using material logic, they think God cannot be like that. God means completely non-material. So instead of accepting his transcendental and spiritual form, they think him to be formless. Anyway, so this debate has been going on for millennia. So Krishna answers this very nicely in 12th chapter. Okay, Madhurika, get on the keyboard. 12th chapter, verse 1. Bhagavad Gita is Arjuna's 16 questions to Krishna. So in India, I love to walk around and I always keep the 12th chapter with me to show people. They always believe God is formless. God is Nirakara. And when you show them 12th canto, their head spins, 12th chapter, their head always spins. So this is one of Krishna's, Arjuna's questions. Evam satati yukta ye bhaktas tvam parupasate ye chapi aksaram avyaktam te shamche yoga vitamaha. Go to Madhurika, stick it up there. There we go. Arjuna inquired. Why you took it off again?
It's in the chat box.
Oh, okay. I can't see. Arjuna said, according to your earlier explanations, there are devotees who are endowed with nishta. Nishta means fixed. Who continuously engage in the worship of your Shama Sundar form. And there are also those who worship the impersonal feature, Aksharam Avyaktam. Akshara means without change. We call that the formless Brahman. Right? If you speak to most people, what is God? He's like a big light, an all-pervading effulgence, avyakt, unmanifest and imperishable. Okay. Which of those is the best of those who know yoga? Of these two, who is superior in knowledge of yoga? The personalist or the impersonalist? And many people, even when they explain Gita, Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj would always use, there was one very famous Mayavad. I think he was the president of India. His name was Radha Krishna something. Radha Krishna. So he wrote a commentary on Gita, and he wrote, when Krishna says, give up everything and surrender to me, then in his own manufactured commentary, he said, well, it's not to Krishna you have to surrender to. It's the unborn inside Krishna. Yes, Madhurika, scratch your head and wonder, what does that mean? The unborn within Krishna. So not actually Krishna with hands and legs, but the unborn, the unmanifest, which is inside Krishna. Of course, because in this world, no, the body is false and temporary, but the real thing is the soul. So thinking Krishna would be like a human being, or maximum some great type of prophet or saint or guru, and they think, well, it's not the body which is the eternal thing, it's the thing inside Krishna which is eternal. But devotees never make that mistake, because we know the inside and outside Krishna is both the same. There's no difference between his so-called soul or body. So, Krishna answers this very famously. Maya vesha manoya mam niti yuktu upasate shradhaya pariyopatas te me yuktatma mataha. Those yogis whose faith is transcendental, no, beyond Sattvagun, Rajagun, and Tamagun. There we go. The Blessed Lord said, he whose mind is fixed on my personal form. Thank you for removing it before I could finish. Maybe you can read it for us, Madhurika.
The Blessed Lord said, He whose mind is fixed on my personal form, always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith, is considered by me to be most perfect.
Who did the drum roll?
A picture fell.
Huh?
One picture fell.
Oh, okay. Sound like a drum roll. Right? Faith is also three types. Krishna explains this later on in Bhagavad Gita. Faith in ignorance, no? Like that faith which gives pain and suffering to others. This is like, for example, people who sacrifice animals. This is also one type of faith, right? To buy a goat cost, how much is a goat there in London, Madhurika? In your local village, how much it costs to buy a Welsh sheep or a goat? Come on, you know.
No idea. Maybe £50.
Say £50. So if someone's going to do an animal sacrifice, cost £50. You have to find somewhere to chop it up. And this is a lot of endeavor, a lot of expense. So this costs money. So this is one type of faith. But because this faith is in ignorance, no, there's no benefit to who does the chopping, and there's no benefit to the chopped. Right? The choppy and the chopped both get negative benefit. Or like someone who does a suicide bombing. This is faith to pull the cord, to kill yourself. You have faith in I would achieve some benefit in this. So this is one type of faith, but this is faith in the mode of ignorance. Faith in the mode of passion. By doing this activity, I'll fulfill some material desire. No. Like gambling on the stock exchange, right? For example. This is one type of faith, but it's passion. And faith in the mode of goodness. Right? But beyond the mode of goodness is also nirgun shraddha, transcendental shraddha. So those who are possessed of transcendental shraddha, whose faith is beyond the three bani influence of nature, and who fix their mind on my Sham Sundar form, and who constantly worship me with one-pointed devotion, they're the best amongst those conversant with the science of yoga. And whose opinion is that, Madhurika?
Krishna's.
Krishna's. One name, therefore Krishna is often known as the guru of the yoga system. So Krishna is giving his opinion. So faith is always there, and without faith we wouldn't even wake up in the morning. Faith is there in all activities. We have faith that by drinking water my thirst will be destroyed. By eating my hunger will be finished. By wearing a coat I'll become comfortable. By going to work I'll earn some money. Right? By marrying that guy I'm going to become happy. So faith is there in all activities. But what we're interested in is called transcendental shraddha. So Gurudev said there's two types of faith. One which comes from this world. He would use the word lokik shraddha. Its origin is this world. It comes and it goes because it's temporary. Like, if I may be partial to say, all the religions in this world, they come from this world. Because they have everything material has a beginning and an end. Like Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Jain, so many religions which, like Zoroastrian, those who used to worship Bathizal Baba, remember him, Bathizal Baba? Madhurika?
No.
Bathizal Baba, he used to be worshipped by the Sumerians. So, 4,000 years ago, that was a religion. Now, no one even heard of it. Zoroastrianism, where's that from? That's the Persians used to worship that before Islam came. The religion of the Greeks, who used to worship Thor and Zeus and all those fellows. The religions of the Romans, the Celts, the Mayans, the poor Aborigines, right? So many religions came and gone. So these days, what we think is, in 5,000, 10,000 years, Christianity or Islam will even be there? No guarantee, no? So this type of faith, it has its origin in this world. It comes and it goes like waves on an ocean. So this is lokik shraddha. Today I'm a Christian. It can change. Today I'm a Christian. Next day I become a Buddhist. But what we're interested in is called paramatik shraddha. Alokik shraddha. Paramatik shraddha. That is not coming from the mind. It's coming from the soul itself, the Atma itself. It's called the Vritti of the Atma. Vritti means the function. Everything has a function. Like the function of concrete is to be hard. The function of water is to be liquid, the Britti. So the Britti of the Atma, that is Shraddha, faith. Right? Faith in something sublime. But that faith we call the seed of devotion. So by that Bhakti Shraddha, then one can fix their minds on Sham Sundar and worship him with devotion. They are the best of the yogis. So Krishna nicely clears it. The impersonalist and the personalist. Which are the superiors, Madhurika?
The personalist.
Personalists who meditate on Sham Sundar form. Even amongst the Vaishnavas, some fix their minds on Narayan, some fix their minds on Nrsingadev, some fix their minds on Ramchandra. But the best, even amongst the Vaishnavas, those who fix their mind on Krishna must be considered the topmost. Well, because as Krishna is the source of incarnations, he is called Swayam Bhagavan, then worship of that Swayam Bhagavan will also be the topmost manifestation of Vaishnavism. If we look at it from a neutral point of view, of course we're not so neutral, but still. So Mayavesh Manoye Mam Niti Yuktu Pasate. Mayavesh, those who are Avesh means absorbed. Those who are absorbed in me. No? Like you put sugar into tea, no? It fully absorbs and it loses itself. So the devotee fully absorbed in thinking of Krishna, they forget about their own body, they forget about their minds, they forget about everything. Maya Veshamano Yemam Nityayuktu Pasate. And the worship of Krishna, oh, I'm just going to change my internet. So I will now be sucking off the temple internet illegally. Yes. Are you still there?
Yes, we're still here.
Okay. So commit activity of sucking onto the temple internet. But even a little sinful thing done for Krishna, that is religion. We're hearing that. So, Mayaveshan Manoye Mam Niti Yuktu Pasate. Those who absorb their mind in me, Upasana means to worship. Aradhana. Radharani's name means Aradhana. Aradhana means to worship, to serve. So Nitya Yuktu Pasate, those who eternally worship me. Birth after birth. And even when we become free from birth and death, we will still be serving Krishna. Shraddhaya pariyopate te me yuktatma mataha. Those who worship me, transcendental faith, Krishna says, I consider them to be the best. So this impersonal aspect we call Brahman. Brahman is all-pervading. Brahman is indestructible. Right? Brahman is also one type of happiness. The yogis, Pantasta Koti Satapatsara Sampragamya. Brahma Samhita says what the yogis try to attain over hundreds of years of controlling the breath, controlling the mind and the senses through the practice of Astanga Yoga. What they attain Brahman. But what is that Brahman? Right? That Brahman, that is the bodily effulgence of Krishna. Right? From Krishna's body, some effulgence comes. That is the Brahman. So they attain Krishna. Right? The effulgence is also, like the effulgence of the sun is, in one sense, is also the sun. So they attain Krishna, but not in his fullest aspect. This is called the Angikanti, the effulgence of Krishna. In Brahma Samhita, it also describes that very nicely. So it's one external feature of Krishna, the Brahman. So the Jews, the Muslims, the Christians, the Buddhists, What they're attaining the external aspect. But that Brahman does not speak. No. He doesn't laugh and joke. No. He has no pastimes. In one sense, you should not be able to even see him because he's formless. So this is called Suska Gyan, dry knowledge. So they're also attaining Krishna, but not in the fullest aspect. Right? Because Krishna is the cause of everything, he must also be the cause of the Brahman. So who attains that Brahman, they also achieve one, it's like full cessation of material existence. It's one type of liberation. You know, like when we sleep at night, it's like one type of liberation from all the misery of the day. So Brahman or Sayoja Mukti, this is also one type of liberation. It exists. But to think that is everything, that is a mistake. So instead of meditating on the impersonal Brahman, Krishna is advising us to meditate on his Sham Sundar form. How can you meditate on his Sham Sundar form, Madhurika? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this name is also called one type of Brahma, but we call it Nam Brahma. No, Nam Brahma. So the name, by meditating on the name reveals the form of Krishna. Therefore, meditating on the name of Krishna is considered the topmost meditation. Right? When Ramananda Roy was discussing with Mahaprabhu, then many questions Mahaprabhu asked to Ramananda Roy. Tadadhyan, Madhyat, Tadadhyan, Sa, of all type of meditation, which is the best type of meditation? Then Mahaprabhu said, then Ramananda Roy answered, meditating on the pastimes of Radha Krishna, that is the topmost meditation. Tadgan, Madhya, Sa, Tadgan, Sa, of all type of song, what is the best song? The song which describes the pastimes of Radha Krishna, that is the topmost gan or kit or song. So the name is the topmost meditation. Liberated souls give up everything, but they never give up the name of Krishna. Therefore, the name of Krishna is Krishna himself. Nam Nami Aminyam. Nam Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasavik. Sudha Nitya Purna Sudha Mukta Binatva Nami Namino. There's no difference between Krishna and his name. The name of Krishna is fully conscious. No, it's not like a material sound, which is unconscious. Material sound comes from the voice box vibrating the lips. Material sound has a material origin. But spiritual sound has no material origin. Even though it looks like it also comes from the voice box and the lips. But actually it's Krishna's mercy appearing in the form of sound. So it's not ordinary sound. So this is one form of Krishna. The name of Krishna is one form of Krishna. But the name of Krishna is more kind than Krishna's personal forms. Because the personal form of Krishna you can only see when you're perfect. But the name you can chant when you're imperfect. Madhurika, chant Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Did you see Krishna? So this is proof the name is more personal, more kind than Krishna's form. Even though they're non-different. Because only perfect person can see Krishna, but non-perfect person like Madhurika can chant his names. So the names reveal the form of Krishna, then chanting more the qualities of Krishna, the pastimes of Krishna. The name also reveals your own form, your own qualities. This is called Ekadas Bhav. The soul also have 11 things: form, dress, name, some particular service, some particular parakasta, some particular desire, particular residence. So our place is there already in Golok Vrindavan. No? So the chanting of the holy name reveals our own form, also reveals the form of Krishna. The name is very great and wonderful. So in Kali Yuga, how we meditate on Krishna's form? By chanting his name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Actually, Gogamaj would say, when you chant the name, you should chant in front of the deities. Or chant in front of a picture of Krishna. Then you'll get the understanding the name and the form are one. No? So, but yeto aksharam anidesham avyaktam parupasate sarvatra gramachintyascha kutashtam acharam dhruvam. But those who worship my indescribable, unmanifest, all-pervading, inconceivable, immutable, eternal, and featureless Brahma Sarup, while controlling their senses, while being equal to everyone, while engaging in the welfare of all, they also attain me. Right. Because that Brahman is also Krishna. It's not separate from him. They attain him, even though they cannot understand that Brahman is Krishna's bodily effulgence. They also attain him, but not the 100%. So even such liberated souls attracted to the impersonal feature of Krishna, they can change by the mercy of devotees. Like imagine Madhurika spent her life eating potatoes. And she's happy by that. Then somehow she met someone who gave her an ice cream. By mercy. Would you go back to the potatoes? So upon experiencing a higher taste, one gives up that ordinary thing. So many, many histories of people who were attracted to the impersonal feature, but by the mercy of Bhagavan or by the mercy of devotee, they could realize something of his personal form. Then they became Vaishnavas. Like there was one king, his name was Janak Maharaj. Janak. He had another name, Videhi. He was so detached, so detached. His name was Videha. So, even though he was a king with wife and children, he was a fully liberated soul. There's one story. One time, many, many brahmacharis, sadhus, and sannyasis and yogis, they came to hear lectures, to get some knowledge from the king Janak. So while Janak was giving his lecture about detachment, knowledge, impersonalism, then news came, the hotel, what's another name? Not a hotel, what would it be? Anyway, the residential quarters of all these monks and sannyasis and celibates and brahmacharis, it had caught fire. So everyone had kept their underpants there, their underpants and their t-shirts and stuff. And when they heard this place had burning down, they all ran to save their underpants and towels. But Janak Maharaj, even though that was his palace that was burning down, he not moved a muscle because he had fully no attachment. And when they came back and they realized this was false news, then Janak Maharaj educated them on what is real renunciation. You gave up pursuit of knowledge just to save your underpants, your kopans. So Janak Maharaj, very detached person, liberated soul. There's another person called, his name was Astavakra. Have you heard of him? Shampriya? Famous person. He was in his mother's womb, and his father was a Vedic scholar. So his father was chanting the Vedic mantras, and the baby in the womb said, "Oh, father, you are chanting them wrong pronunciation." Then father became very angry. "Oh, horrible child, I curse you. You will be bent in 8 places." Like that. So when he was born, he was called Astavakra. His neck was bent, his hands, wrists, elbows, knees, ankles. 8 places he was deformed. So of course, when he would walk, I know you could imagine his walking was not very normal also. But Astavakra was a great spiritualist. So he heard Janak Maharaj is having a great religious assembly. It was discussion on spiritual life. So he began walking there. And of course, he was not so easy for him to walk. No wheelchairs, Madhurika in those days. So walking, it took him many weeks. And finally he entered this place where the religious assembly was held. When he entered and he was going to his seat, everyone began laughing at him. So much laughing. But Astavakra began laughing twice as loud as any of them. He was so much laughing. Then everyone became shocked. Why is he laughing? We are laughing at him. Why is he laughing at us? But then Janak Maharaj, who was a very refined and knowledgeable person, Krishnadasi, understand anything? Krishna? Panamayach? Nothing. So Janak Maharaj asked, "Oh, Maharaj, why are you laughing so much? What makes you funny? What's so funny?" Astavakra said, "I am not laughing, I am weeping." Why? I heard this would be a convention of great religious scholars, transcendentalists, yogis, liberated souls. But I see this is just a shoemaker's convention. Of course, in India, the foot is the lowest part of the body, so people who make shoes, they're considered the worst, the lowest. Then everyone becomes shocked. Why is he calling us shoemakers? He said, because all a shoemaker knows is leather, skin. That's all he knows. So all of these people, they're just seeing the body. What is this body? Leather, skin. They have no knowledge of spiritual life, no knowledge of the difference between the soul and the body. If I'm not laughing, I'm crying. I come such a distance to associate with these shoemakers. Anyway, so Janak and Astavakra, these are called 2 gurus of this Brahmavad, impersonalists. But when Sita came as his daughter, and when his age came for his daughter to become married, then Janak sent invitations to all young men, princes, to come to try to attain the hand of Janaki, Sita Devi, as their wife. So Sita was so beautiful, kings came from everywhere. So the sons of Dasarat Maharaj, Ram and Lakshman, also came with their guru Vishwamitra Rishi. So Ram, so handsome, like Cupid. And Lakshman also, not less. Right? He looked like a mountain of sandalwood paste. So effulgent, so fragrant, these 2 boys. So soft yet so strong, so beautiful, so handsome. They walked like intoxicated elephants. Their speech was like nectar. This is Supreme Lord. No? So when Janak Maharaj saw the beauty of these 2 boys, again and again he was looking, again and again. But he didn't know who they were. So he asked Vishwamitra, "Oh Maharaj, who are these 2 boys?" Then Vishwamitra became shocked, Because Janak don't even know about his own body. How would he know about the bodies of other people? You have no relation with this world. Sarva Kalabamidam Brahma. Everywhere is just Brahman. Brahman. They're just always fixed in the effulgence. They don't know anything else. The varieties of the material world can never attract them. So when Janak Maharaj asked, who are these two boys, then Vishvamitra became astonished. Hey, Maharaj, whole life you don't care about anyone or anything. And now you're asking, who are these two? Then Janak Maharaj spoke a famous verse, E tu balak ati anuragi, barosamam brahma sukatyagi. These two boys are so attractive, so handsome. They cannot be material because otherwise Janak would not be attracted at all because he was a liberated soul. So the form of Ram and Lakshman, the qualities of Ram and Lakshman, the walking, the talking of Ram and Lakshman, these are not material. Otherwise they could not catch his senses. So he said, I don't know what is that, their beauty, but their beauty has caught my mind. But also mam brahma sukatyagi. So absorption in the impersonal aspect, this is called Brahma Sukh. He said, their beauty is so powerful, it dragged my mind from the happiness of Brahma Sukh, and I've become their servant. Brosamam Brahma Sukatyagi. So this very famous example of how even impersonalists become personalists by the mercy of the Supreme Lord or by the mercy of his devotee. So that attraction to the personal form is so strong. One who comes to that never goes back to the impersonal aspect. It's like one-way traffic. So when devotees hear about Brahman or Mukti, they spit on it. They detest it. They hate it. Diyamanam nagrihanam binamat sevanam. Even if Krishna offers them that liberation, they never accept. No. What is that verse in Damodarastakam? What is it? Varam deva moksham na moksha vidimva na chanyam briniham barishadapiya idamte vapurnata gopala bharam manasichakra avistam kiman. Oh Krishna, you are the best of the giver of benedictions. Satyavrata Rishi is praying. You can give anything. No? Nachanam briniham varishadapiya. Nothing is impossible for Krishna to give. But namoksha vidimva, you can give me anything, Krishna, but don't give me liberation. Liberation is considered the highest benediction by many people. And Krishna says, you don't want liberation? What do you want? Manas avrestam kimanya. I just want your form as baby Krishna. I just want to think about that. Thank you, Madhurika. Oh Lord. Okay, can you read it?
Also, I'm reading a different translation, but O
No
Supreme,
problem.
O, O supremely effulgent and playful divinity, I do not ask you for freedom from mortal suffering, the fourth of human goals, nor do I ask for the ultimate limit of freedom, residence in Vaikuntha, the abode of extraordinary concentrated happiness, nor do I seek any other benediction from you, even attaining bhakti characterized by Shravan, Kirtan, etc. Even though, as the supreme benefactor, you can easily grant all benedictions. O Lord of my life, may your beautiful form as Balagopal, a little cowherd boy in Raj, always remain visible within my heart. I have no use for any benediction other than this.
Even the attachment to other incarnations is not considered as perfect as meditation on Krishna's Vrindavan form. So, Klesho adhikaras tesham avyakta shaktam chetasam avyakta hi gati dukam devabdi avyapite. For those whose minds are attached to the impersonal feature, experience great difficulty. Because for those who identify the body with itself, it is difficult to develop steadiness in something that is not manifest. That's 100% true. No? Before I became devotee, then I was living in one ashram in South India. And everyone there was impersonalists. So for like 18, 20 hours a day, I would do the meditation. What to think of? Nothing. No. So difficult, so dry. My God, so dry. Terrible, actually. And it's so painful sitting there in one place, no relationships, no enjoyment. Cannot hear anything, everything is illusionary. Cannot see everything, everything is illusionary. So this is so dry, so unnatural also. Like the Buddhists, the Gyanis, the Yogis, they're doing this meditation, but this is fully unnatural. Maturka, stop the eyes from seeing. Is it natural? Stop seeing. Stop hearing. Stop smelling. Stop tasting. Stop touching. Stop thinking. Stop it. Can you stop? Eyes will see, ears will hear, nose will smell, tongue will taste, body will feel, mind will think. So to artificially stop that and absorb yourself in something which is unmanifest, this is hard work. This is dry and boring. At the end of the day, it's practically impossible. That's why these people, they do such great meditations and everything. But at the end, they always fall down because it's natural to think, move, talk. These are all natural functions. So for those who are attached to the impersonal aspect, their spiritual practices are very difficult, very hard. And the result is temporary and useless. But devotees experience great happiness. Read something, so much nice things to read. Shampriya, what are you reading at the moment? What book are you reading?
I'm actually hearing Chaitanya Bhagavad on YouTube.
Okay, try to read it. Reading is better than hearing.
Srimad
Reading is
Bhagavatam
better than YouTube.
Yeah, I read Srimad Bhagavatam in the morning, a little bit of Bhagavad Gita, and then I listen to Chaitanya Bhagavad.
But just stick to one book and finish one book at a time. But if you can get a book and read it, it's always better. Didi says Shastra is always Shastra, book. Reading it is another thing than just hearing from YouTube. Of course, hearing from YouTube is, but still reading is always superior.
Okay.
Yes, just last year, at the end of, in Australia this January, I finished Chaitanya Bhagavad. So nice, no? So nice. Actually, you're looking when I can finish all my daily activities and read. Such a taste. Now I started reading Bhakti Ratnaka. So nice. You know? I read it before, but I'm reading like I never read it. So nice. The life of Narottam Srinivas, Shyamananda, Jiva Goswami, Rupa Goswami. But this is not devotee. Use the eyes for reading, the eyes for seeing the charming form of the deities, ears for hearing katha, like we're hearing all this katha about Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, is a happiness. Then, okay, take prasad, so many paneer, sabji, rubberies, puri. Madhurika, what feast you had yesterday? Huh? Did you cook anything?
I didn't cook.
Criminal. At least some wine offering you can give.
I gave some fruits, and I made
What?
in the evening. I made buckwheat pancakes and milk puss.
Oh yeah, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's favorite, right? Buckwheat pancakes. Okay, I won't be too hard on it. But devotee very happily engages his senses in bhakti, very happily. Okay, want some exercise, do parikram, speak about Krishna, hear katha, smell the incense, the flower garlands, see the deities, hear some katha, and what you think it's, what you read about, you'll think about. So for the devotee, the senses are not enemies. The senses and the mind become like friends because you use them in a natural way to achieve perfection. So devotee very happily resides in this body of 9 gates. Right? This body is a city of 9 gates. 2 eyes, 2 nose, mouth, 2 ears. How much is that? 7. And down below is 2 more. Very happily the devotee stays in the 9 gates. And by this body, achieve perfection. They use this body to achieve perfection by engagement in bhakti yoga. But the impersonalists, they're seeing all these things as enemies. Don't look, don't smell, don't taste, don't hear, don't think, don't make relationship. All is maya, they say. All is illusion, all is illusion. In this way, they negate any form of happiness. They negate everything. This is unnatural and not satisfying at all. But those whose minds are attached to an impersonal aspect experience great difficulty. 100% fact. Because for those who identify the body as the self, it's difficult to develop steadiness in something which is unmanifest. It's unnatural and not possible. The difference between, I'll read here, the difference between a Jnana Yoga and a Bhakti Yogi is that the stage of practice, a Bhakti Yogi can easily cultivate the process to achieve the supreme objective. And at the appropriate time, he achieves the stage of perfection with the same ease. On the other hand, in the course of the Jnana Yoga's practice, he becomes fixed in the unmanifest reality, and he has to suffer the trouble of practicing a conception based on negating everything which he perceives. That is famous. Neti, neti, they say, not this, not that, not this, not that. This process of negation requires one to think in a way that is opposed to the natural aptitude of love. So it is a cause of unhappiness for the living entity. That's a fact. No, it's a very rare devotee goes from personalism to unpersonalism, impersonalism. Very rare. I only know one person, Madhumati. Very rare someone gives up the happiness of seva, bhakti yoga, right? Even like we're living in this temple. Who lives in the temple with marble floors and so many rooms and bathrooms? I'm just talking a complete materialistic point of view. Right, Madhurika, how many sabjis you have a day? Your parents, when they have their lunch, what they eat for lunch? Your poor mother and father, what's their idea of lunch? Peanut butter sandwich?
Yeah, a microwave rice.
Microwave rice, right? Baked beans on toast, right? The devotees, look, 6, 7 sabjis, rice, sweets, paneer, right? Maharaja was saying the other day, the devotee gets the same opulence as Bhagavad, right? Bhagavan gets this amazing temple, but who's serving Bhagavan gets the same temple. Bhagavan gets all nice foodstuffs, devotee get the same thing. So anyway, so who will give up the happiness even in the stage of sadhana? Who will give up the happiness even in the stage of sadhana? No, and try and adopt some impersonal process. Like when impersonalists come to the temple and they have prasad, it's like, oh my God, I've never had so nice. And we're like, well, we get this every day, right? So I think one time Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, he was there, and he had a jar of rasgullas on his desk. He just took a huge one and put it in his mouth. And he said, by taking rasgullas, we go back to Godhead. Just taking foodstuffs offered to Krishna, all the senses become controlled, absorbed in Krishna's seva. So natural, so easy, so enjoyable. There we go. Madhurika's put her little verse up there. So very hard to give up what you naturally can see, taste, smell, and think about. To absorb your mind in something of which you have no experience, that is very difficult. So, Actually, the devotee feels so much happiness even in the stage of practice. They don't mind taking birth again and again. No problem. As long as I get prasad, I get Thakurji, I get the deities, I get Harikatha. No problem, I take a few more births. No problem at all. The devotee never fears material existence. They only fear forgetting Krishna. So, the jiva is an eternal conscious entity. That means he's manifest. If the jiva becomes merged in an unmanifest state, then his constitutional nature, which he should accept, is destroyed. Because instead of identifying himself with Krishna, he's identifying with Brahman. And he now considers himself to be the supreme. Once he has arrived at this imperfect understanding of his real nature, it is difficult for him to give up this conception. Right. For the embodied living entity, embarking upon meditation on the unmanifest only results in misery, both at the time of practice and also at the time of achieving the goal. In reality, the living entity is conscious by nature and has a spiritual body. Therefore, this unmanifest or impersonal meditation is contrary to the living entity's own eternal form and simply a source of misery. Bhakti Yoga alone is the source of eternal auspiciousness for the jiva, for the soul. Gyan Yoga, when bereft of bhakti and practice independently, always becomes a source of inauspiciousness. Therefore, Adhyatmic Yoga, the process of self-realization that is performed by worshipping the formless, immutable, and all-pervading Nirvishesha Swarup, is not at all praiseworthy. Okay, so we'll finish here. Are there any questions? Jessica?
No, it has been quite enlightening, the distinction between the impersonalist and the personalist, to have something to think
Chapter
about
12.
much.
Get a tattoo. Did you buy your ticket yet?
No,
Why not?
I just need to disattach from my child. You can hear her behind.
How old is he?
She's 9.
Oh. Maybe you could find someone who'll look after her for 1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah,
A
that's
little
what
difficult, of course.
I
Or you could bring her.
to convince her.
Of
Maharaja.
course, you could bring her with you.
She's here.
You could bring her with you.
Problems are there with father, but the issue.
Oh, right. Maybe father could look after for 1 or 2 weeks. Okay. Anyway, Krishna will help us. Okay, everyone. Thank you very much.
Maharaj,
Okay.
can I ask a quick
Yes.
Yesterday we were discussing the reasons why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, and I wonder if you could tell us what's the main reasons that he came.
4 main reasons why Lord Chaitanya came. 2 are primary and 2 are secondary. So, Premras Nijas Koditya Swadan Ragmag Bhakti Lok Koditya Pracharan. These are the 2 main reasons. Lord Krishna, some things he could not fully understand. Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
How much Radharani loves me. How Krishna can understand that? He cannot. How much she loves me. When she loves me, what she feels. What happiness. And thirdly, Krishna wants to taste himself, but he cannot because only devotee can taste himself. Chocolate cannot taste itself. Krishna cannot taste himself, only devotee can taste Krishna. So Krishna had 3 desires. What is in me which makes the devotee crazy? What is my own sweetness? What does Radharani feel about me? And what happiness she feels when she serves? Krishna wants to understand all these things. That's the main reason. The second reason, if Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna wanted to distribute love of Krishna. This thing only Krishna can distribute because this is his own property. So these are the primary reasons: to taste something for himself and to distribute to the souls of this world. And the secondary reasons, Advaita Acharya was praying, I must bring Krishna to this world to give devotion. And also the time had come for the incarnation of Kali Yuga to spread the chanting of the holy names everywhere. So that was also one cause. In other Kali Yugas, Krishna comes in an incarnation which chants the holy name, but this incarnation is not Krishna himself, it's just like an expansion. So because in the other Kali Yugas, it's not Krishna personally, then it cannot give love of the residents of Vrindavan, because this is Krishna's special property. So these all reasons together are the reason why Lord Chaitanya came. Can you remember them, Madhurika?
Just about. I have to listen again. Thank you very much.
Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's all written in there.
Okay.
The reasons for Lord Chaitanya's appearance. Okay, everyone? What festivals are coming up next week?
Oh, I have to have a look. I'm not sure.
Where's Sonat? Sonat didn't come. What's her name? How do you say it?
Shoned. She's here, Maharaj. Just came a little bit
Is she?
late.
Where is she?
She's for everyone. Here.
I'm here, but I'm hiding as usual, Maharaj. I'm swimming in the sea of illusion.
Right. If I don't make you feel bad, at least in one class, I don't feel happy. Okay. The Kadasi's coming up. When's the Kadasi? Madhurika, when's the Kadasi? Should be in another week, right?
Today is the
Another
7th.
5 days.
It is on Friday, the Friday the 13th.
Okay, Shonit, no toast in the morning on Friday. That's right. Do or die. It's a Kadasi.
Well,
Okay.
also,
Any questions more?
Can I ask something, Maharaj?
Yes, certainly.
Yes. In those few verses that you talked today, it said like Bal Gopal is the most auspicious form. And I cannot fully understand, like Krishna manifested many different leelas even when he left Vrindavan, Mathura, and all these other devotees who were with him. And when we see later on when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was manifesting this mood of Radharani, it was specifically during his sannyasa days, which were actually in Jagannath Puri, not in the place of Radharani. That's something I could never fully understand. And Jagannath is called Nirakara, and how we connect those two in that sense to understand, like why Bal Gopal, and then what is the difference with Chaitanya showing us actually.
Okay. Krishna's eternal form is 16-year-old Krishna. That is the eternal form of Krishna. Kishore Sarup, 16 years old. But some devote for his human-like pastimes, and also some devotees like baby form of Krishna. Some devotees like childhood form of Krishna. For them, Yogamaya manifests those forms to him, to them. Right? So we can say in careful language, these are not temporary forms, but they manifest temporarily for the happiness of devotees. But his real eternal form is 16 years old. And Yoga Maya reveals these other forms also to help his human-like Leela. And number 2, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's fully tasting of Radharani's mood was not as a sannyasi. The highest level of his tasting Radharani's mood was in Mayapur, especially in the kirtan that he would perform in the house of Srivas Thakur. Like Krishna did his pastimes in 3 places, Vrindavan, Mathura, and Dwarka, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did his pastimes in 3 places, Mayapur, Jagannath Puri, and when he traveled around South India. But the highest manifestation of him tasting Radharani's mood, that was in Mayapur. That was in Mayapur. Remember, after he took initiation and came back, then he was fully intoxicated with bhakti. That was the highest tasting of Radharani's mood in Mayapur. Okay?
Okay.
If you read Chaitanya Bhagavad, then you'll understand it, how much he tasted and what he experienced there. Chaitanya Charitamrita will concentrate on Jagannath Leela in Jagannath Puri, but Chaitanya Bhagavad described more Mahaprabhu's Navadvip Leela. Then you'll understand how much he tasted. Okay? Okay, thank you everyone. Go Premanande.